brilliant minds represented here. And thank you guys. More power to Waape for putting this together and utilizing the internet and this space to empower and inspire young people across Uganda. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. And we'll now have Mr. Josephat with Papa introduce himself. Okay. Is Mr. Josephat with us? Okay. I think we'll continue. He's not yet joined us. So we're going to have a panel discussion about young people and better employment. As you have realized that in the recent past, there's been a current trend showing that most of the employers and businesses in general have been having an affinity to entrust young people and youth with responsibilities as long as they have the capability to carry out certain tasks that are assigned to them. So what, in your opinion, do you think has been largely responsible for the paradigm shift to this, where formerly we had young businesses being very skeptical about taking on young people and entrusting them with big mantles of responsibility, but that has changed. So what, in your opinion, do you think that has caused the paradigm shift to what we have in the status quo right now? Over to any of the panelists who feels ready to start. Okay, Mr. Sam, could you please give us your thoughts? And if yes. I would appreciate if you have your video turned on, yeah? So we could see you.
We have a power problem, so I'm trying to present and also finish this discussion. So you'll bear with me on that
okay,
particular
okay.
issue. Okay, so I just beg to repeat your question?
What do you think has caused the paradigm shift, has motivated the paradigm shift, where we have employers and businesses in general being comfortable with entrusting young people with a big mantle of responsibilities, because we have very many young professionals right now?
Okay, I did not know that as I don't know if that is a solid statistic. Of course, generally, naturally, and also naturally, the younger generations always take over. But we are also very aware of the big challenge that we have between the employers and the employees. And this is there's a big gap, especially among people that have just concluded the primary stage of university, that's bachelor studies. If you do a survey with many of the employers, they will tell you that it's hard for them to find people to employ. And yet at the same time, there are thousands of people that are getting out of university. So for me, I look at it, if your statistic is right, that's really great. But there's this very real challenge that I've faced a lot in the practical spaces and discussions. And you look at what is causing this big gap between employers and the young people that are coming out of universities. And there are a few issues that come up, and one of them is, how are these young people being educated? On the one side, there are people who just didn't do well in university. They have maybe mediocre grades, or they had, a bad time, and for different reasons, maybe it was family finances and all these issues. And that is what, on the one hand, that makes a person out of university unemployable. The other is just they don't have the practical skills to fit into these organizations. And one of the solutions to this, which we are in the best generation ever to be able to bridge ourselves into employment and being employable, because more and more we have opportunities like fellowships, professional courses, which is a big thing right now. If you look at Uganda Management Institute website, you can look up those. So you're able to bridge your primary education that one could have been poor, but also is just not compatible with the job market, with some of these professional skill sets that you can learn from different spaces that are able to push you into, better employment or make you really attractive to the employer, because they have the practical experience and they can see through you and tell whether you're able to perform in those practical spaces. So that is how I would reply from my own paradigm of how I view this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam. So Mr. Sam seems to notice that there has not really been a very big employability of the young people coming from the fresh from university. What are your thoughts, Mr. Jacob?
Please repeat the question entirely, because Sam has had a different approach to it that I want to avoid.
Okay, so I was saying that current trends have revealed that there's an increased affinity for some of the employers to take on young people in their businesses, because if they seem to have the capability to carry on the various tasks that are assigned to them. So I am asking, what do you think has motivated the paradigm shift to what we have now?
So I'd like to first say there is no alternative for them, because Uganda is generally having too many young people that it is beginning to impact on everything. If you say you'd want to hire entry engineers today, you're looking at young people. It's not 1999 anymore, where people finish university at 34 years or 35 years because they started school late. Now, people go through university, people go all the way to university in a staged manner. They start school at 5, 6 years, and they will go well through school because the whole country permits that. Could you please ask Ola to mute?
Pardon?
I think Ola is having feedback. Okay, now it's quiet. So the point I'm making there is that for now, employers, when they come to look for people who want jobs, young people are very available. They are readily available. They have skills they've attained through education and so on. I think, though, that the trend in acquiring them would not speak only to their availability. It also speaks to the pressure in the country for people to actually have agile young people who can come into their workspaces. I'll give you an example, and it should be familiar with you and my brother Ola. Law firms are taking in what I would call rookies from university a lot more, because those will not ask for a high pay, or they will not argue a lot for a high pay. They'll just be able to take in the language of, you're coming to start out, so you will learn 2, 3 years down the road, you'll become an associate, and you'll be able to then get a recognition of a salary increase for the word associate. The difference is that that's not going to happen for a 34-year-old lawyer who has a wife and children. They're not going to be thinking about 800,000 or 700,000, and they'll not be in the language of let's start. They would rather start their own law firm and see it grow. And that's the difference with young people, that they are pressed to a point where they have to deal with the offer as it is, as much as they would prefer something better. So that's to answer your question of why the intake now is more towards young people. One, there's no alternative, but also two, the young people themselves are in that place of necessity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacob. So Jacob seems to note that young people are readily available to take up the opportunities, but also they seem to present a cheaper option for the employers. And I think that's true, because yes, most of the employers really look at young people as low budget maintenance. And I think that's very true. Over to you, Mr. Richard Chambade. When you thought on why you think that there has been an increased of employed. Yeah.
Okay, cool. My submission is not really far different from Jacob, really in the sense that if, if you're running a business in an economy which has 50% of the people below the age of 18, really, you're going to expect to, your pool from which you're hiring is not going to be any much farther from, being young people. So that is really what it is at the moment. And I guess that just really to add on is that the businesses now basically maybe just need to figure out how do they make the young people better or fit for their needs as opposed to because one of I know that Ola mentioned is that some of the challenges is that you would have young people whose education or training is not necessarily compatible with the job market or the jobs that are available. And I guess that's now like the biggest question of how do you fix that? Or how do you level up and have the people that you're hiring, in this case, which there's not too many options because all graduates from the universities are really young. And it's probably going to be that for the next couple of years. But then I think the businesses or corporations or organizations need to really rethink how do they prepare their new entries or the rookies, like Jacob called them, to be better fits for the jobs that are available, and also like sort of like stand up to the challenge that is set before them. So yeah, that will be my contribution to that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. And you take me to my next question, actually. When you say that the universities should better prepare like the young people for employability out there, my next question to you guys is then, what skills do you think that young people should be able to acquire right now that make them more employable? For example, when we talk about skill-based employment, what skills do you think that should be on the fingertips of every young person out there to be like their selling points in the changing job market? We'll start with you, Mr. Richard, if you don't mind. From the last point where you picked up.
Okay. So you're asking how can just really to understand your question, how can the universities or training spaces prepare young people for employability? Is that what your question is?
Yes, how universities can best prepare them for the employment, the job market out there, and also what skills should they acquire to make them more employable in the job market as it is?
Okay, I think that from my experience really working with young people and also being able to interact in terms of engaging in recruiting young people across the continent. At Razi, we have all these interns scattered Nigeria, South Africa, Mauritius, and all over the place. And the process was really quite interesting, just really because everybody, when they're sharing, just really trying also to compare when I got applications from people or young people in Uganda still at the university. There is, of course, still the mundane CV application process, Wahala and whatnot. And then just looking at the presentation from various communities or countries, it's really diverse in the sense that I think that employers, first of all, are looking for value addition at a workplace. And in a sense, I think that universities in that way should be able to prepare young people to provide value. I mean, once we've finished skilling you in a sense that you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you are a nurse or whatever, but can you be a doctor who is managing a hospital? Let's say a private hospital. A private hospital would definitely be a business as much as it's providing a service to heal or to help sick people. But can you have additional skills added to these individuals, and not necessarily through just a course unit. Personally, I would prefer that there would be more hands-on experiences, or probably universities, and a lot is happening for some of the universities. I know that at LAU, what they do, they give students a work experience, just way before the internship process, so that the students are more acclimatized to what is needed at the workspace, but also get out of the box of you just being the student, because oftentimes when you're getting raw talent, then you have to deal with them integrating in the workspace. And sometimes it may take 6 months, 1 year, you're trying to, train, refurbish, provide soft skills, how do you present yourself, how do you behave professionally, and all, just really the soft skills that are needed. And I think that universities need to really bridge those gaps. But also if the universities don't, I think that the young people, more than ever in this generation, have a space or have an opportunity to utilize the internet to learn some of these things and not necessarily wait for the universities to hand it over to them. So yeah, that would be my contribution to that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. Yes, I note that you notice that universities should be more on value addition for students, and I think that's a valid contribution, because where we're going now, it is not really about what you know, but what additional something do you bring to the table, and I think that's a very valid contribution. Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. Because of time, I have 2 more questions that I shall be giving, one to Jacob and the other to Sam. So Sam, to begin with you, I want to ask you, as someone who has been working with in the field of young people and employment with Economic Misfit, what have been your biggest motivation to be able to keep in this field? And also, what challenges have you faced when trying to lobby for employment for young people? Sam, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. All right. Thank you so much. So the Economic Misfit, we decided to build our whole model around our friends, Ubuntu, moving together and trying to get as many young people into, professional spaces. And our model, even within our contracts with clients, we make sure that there is space for interns, and they're paid. So we attach students, say, of law to a law firm that we're working with. So they experience that environment over a long period of time. And we are proud to have moved at least 7 people in the last 2-3 months, where we're just beginning, into professional spaces where they can exercise. And we want to expand this to impact as many young people as possible. And I think we are not the only ones. There's Razi, my friend Richard here works with Razi. They're building their whole model around helping the unemployment issue in Africa. There is Waape, who we are working with currently, building its whole model around professionalizing youth and unemployment. There's pro-intern. So we are really happy to see this movement this year of a lot of startups, just creating their own model around all of us must move together. And this is really impressive. We are just one of the companies under that. Now, what really drives us is, personally, it was creating space for, creative talents. That's one of the things. A lot of, in the job hierarchy, it's really just about hard work and intelligence. Creativity is not a very appreciated skill in the hierarchy, especially when you've just started. In fact, you look a lot like a nuisance, though it's a very important skill when you're at the helm of an organization. Usually for young people at new organizations, they struggle to express themselves. And sometimes you're even entrenched because it's easier to get rid of you than take you through seriously. And then your idea has to go through the bureaucracy. So young people end up with only 2 choices. One is to either you discipline yourself within that organization and you express your creative side through a side hustle, So that is one of the options. The second option is you go all out. But a lot of creative young people don't have environments to incubate, their creativity, because when you build a creative product, it's almost like 5% of the work. You still have sales, you still have marketing, you still have all the technology you need to be able to execute that creative product you have to tell people, first of all, what you're even doing, because it's something new. So creatives need these safe spaces where they can actually express themselves, they can grow, and, at the earlier stages, so that when they leave the economic misfit into real professional spaces, they're able to continue with, the disciplines of intelligence, hard work, and productivity, but also they have a better capacity to express themselves creatively. They have esteem to be creative. And I think that is a big motivation for me. The second motivation is just to build the spirit of leadership.
So if you could please conclude in 1 minute, we're running short of time, and Jacob
Yes,
has
I
one
think.
more question.
Okay, no problem. I'm sorry about. We just want to build a spirit of leadership among young people. And for me, I think when we work as a community, and everyone has a community mindset, when you choose to take care of people, you grow a lot, because you have people that you're in charge of. And then you also gain esteem to demand the people with the facilities for your growth. You can talk to Jacob and say, Jacob, I need the conferences. I need to know the opportunities this year, because you're actually working for everyone. And we want to build an environment where young people take charge of their surroundings, families, communities, and the country at large. Because when we have a bigger sample space of such people with this mindset, then we have a better sample space of leaders. So that is the motivation behind the Misfit. It's leadership, it's professionalizing young people. Thank you so much, and we can always engage more when there's more time.
Thank you so much, Tom. Jacob, in a minute or two, could you please give me your thoughts on working remotely, teams that are working remotely, given the time that we've been in, the COVID period? You've seen that there's very many teams that have resorted to working remotely online. So do you think that the Ugandan landscape has really encouraged, how do you think our Ugandan landscape has affected those particular teams that are starting out and largely working remotely?
First of all, I think that the landscape is not favoring in terms of policy environment. Facebook, I see people keeping on with the advertising of being on Facebook Live and so on, yet Facebook is under lockdown in Uganda. So I think that the policy environment is supposed to help with that. And that's something that we're going to work on next week as a National Youth Council, to just make sure that in this time, you cannot have a lockout of those. The second thing is, I think that it's a very encouraging thing for people to get used to working remotely and working online. I'll tell you that one of the fastest growing business environments is the business development organizations. People that sit in a room in Nigeria or Kenya and basically run errands for a big company in the US, in the UK, in Australia, that maybe want to do organization of data or just run around and,
Two more people. Okay. Hi, people. Thank you for joining. If possible, can you have your mics on? Your mics or your cameras. Yes, thank you. Hello, Jason. How are you?
Hello, I'm okay. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Great, Sasha is with us. Just one. Oh, great. So we are feeling amazing to start off. We will start off. We are here to talk about freelancing, and this is quite an enormous day for us as for people who are trying to curate jobs and opportunities for other people. Freelancing is one of the biggest things that happens in the gig economy, and we'd love to have a chat about that, talk about a bit of the issues that happen around freelancing and a bit of advice from all of you. So I will do you a disservice if I introduce you. So I want you to spread your portfolio and tell the people, introduce yourself. We can start with you, Sasha.
Hello, I'm Sasha Nanyange. I am a writer with Tech Capital. It's a tech media company. Yeah, we do coverage of technology, opportunities, yeah, anything to do with digital. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you, Sasha. Over to you, Jason.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Chigozi, and I work with Elevate. I am the team lead at Elevate. And Elevate is a digital agency dedicating to helping companies effectively communicate their ideas over digital platforms. Yes.
Great. Any of for the both of you, we just love to get into it to advise freelancers to talk a bit about it. So let's start with talking about your experience in the freelancing space. Yes, yes, Sasha.
The freelancing space is quite, it's a very flexible space. That's the beauty. It's just a specific formula. You just need to be able to push yourself. It's basically all about your ability to push yourself, because there is no, you have to create your own foundation. It starts with you. So everything is going to be, how can you put yourself out there? How can you build yourself? How can you make others see you and notice your work? Because no one else is going to do it for you. You do not have a team. You do not have someone to tell you this and that. You have to be able to create networks, to find people that do what you do and be able to guide you. And one of the most important aspects is also doing very quality work, since you are, I wouldn't say on your own, but that is your work like in a solo kind of space. So you have to be able to just push yourself, create your own portfolio, make your own, find platforms that can help you push your work. If you are if you're a coder, then you have to be able to find platforms that will be able to post your work, have other people see it, and then get to you. So yes, that's what I can.
Jason, have you dug into the freelancing world? I know you've done a bit of design here and there.
Well, yes. My journey has been long. I entered freelancing when I didn't even know I was doing freelancing. But a few pointers I've learned along the way. I started in my first year, and I entered it with, I feel, with the wrong mindset. I entered freelancing with an employee mindset. And over the years, what I've learned is that as a freelancer, usually a specialized individual offering services to multiple businesses and running multiple projects, usually at the same time. If you say you're a freelancer and you're dedicated to doing work for one company, when they decide to let you go or fire you, you have nothing to fall back on as a freelancer because you're not fully employed. So I had that challenge in the beginning. And as I slowly started to pick up on how freelancing works, you think of yourself as a self-employed business. You're constantly looking for more work and clients, but not too much, just enough that you can handle. But you're not in a single-minded approach. You need to be able to know that as a freelancer, I can be able to do work for multiple businesses at the same time. And I lead with value. In most cases, you lead with value, or in a position where the company hires you to help out with a temporary situation or a situation that failed to get expertise in. So usually you lead with value. It's the key thing. And you shouldn't have a mindset towards working for one company, because when they do change their mind, you won't have anything to fall back on. You're a business, so the same way businesses operate, you're looking for leads, you're looking for more connections. You're not really looking for competition. You're focusing more on partnerships, as Sasha said, people who do what you do and can recommend you. Yes, I think that's what I can share about my experience being a freelancer.
Thank you. I see Michael has joined us. Hello, Michael. You're muted.
Yes, hello.
Hi, finally. So can you please introduce yourself?
I'm called Michael Ayebale, commonly known Michael Bolton Ayebs on social medias.
Tell us a bit about your experience on such around. Tell us a bit about your experience around freelancing.
I don't really do much of freelancing, but I do digital freelancing on social media, managing social media pages for companies and individuals. So I manage for companies that I don't want to reveal, because I don't want social media people to know what I work with.
No problem, no problem.
And I also handle an MP's social media pages, one MP that I don't want to reveal.
Yeah, so you're a full-on freelancer. Yeah. The first question I will ask you guys is to help us talk to a really new person in the freelancing space. So when someone is new, they really find it hard to get new clients. So what advice will you give them in terms of how to get new clients? They are new in the space, in whatever.
I can give them 5 ways how to find the clients. First, you need to position yourself and know what you're exactly doing. For example, a digital marketer freelancer, a social media handler freelancer cannot do the same as a journalist freelancer. But I'm going to talk for on the side of social media handlers and the influencers. First, you need to tap through your existing network. This means, sorry?
Continue.
By this I mean, you need to know your circles. For example, the influencers who are online, they need to go through their circles and friends within their followers so that they get to know each other, and when someone gets the gigs, can always give them. The other thing is to build your portfolio. The portfolio is like a CV. So you cannot be a freelancer without a CV. You need to build your CV and show clients what you have worked on for the past days or years, so that they can trust you and give you examples to do. So another thing is to always apply for those freelancing things. You go to a company, you decide which company you want to work with. For example, if you're seeing some betting companies online like Melbet, how do you want to work with them? So go to their website and register and start betting. When you start betting, you always post on your social media your receipts of how you're winning or losing, and also maybe predicting for games. By that, Melbet may be interested in you and it hires you to influence for them or work for them.
No.
And the other thing is always to join the freelancing people on social media. If you're an influencer, always join influencers. For example, now on Twitter, there are always certain activities like soccer, UOT soccer. There's also UOT night. There's also UOT barbecue party. Always attend those and get to know many people, so that you connect with others and make them your friends, so that when they have any gigs to give you, they can always contact you.
True. Networks are very important. Sasha, would you have any ways of advising someone who's supposed to get new clients?
Yeah, maybe my emphasis would be on be aggressive, because like I said, you're solo, you're doing your work basically without someone recommending you. It's not a company where you're sort of shielded. So you have to be aggressive. Look for the people that need your services and tell them that, okay, I'm a writer, I have this and this, and you can even show them some of the work that you have done before. Do not keep in your comfort zone. As much as you are good and you have quality work, no one will know if you're seated back on and you're keeping your work to yourself. So you have to be aggressive. Look for the people who need your services. Another thing is to, after you have done your work, post. Go onto those platforms that maybe if there are platforms for web designers, you go there and you know that there are people who are always checking those platforms to find the next web designer for their website, probably. So you put your work there. If you're a journalist freelancer, you can look out for any openings. At Tech Rafiki, we have a specific coverage for opportunities. And one thing that I have noticed with these opportunities is people have become more open-minded to not limiting people. If they're looking for someone to work with, they are not going to limit you to academic qualifications or age. They will say, I just need to see a GitHub portfolio. What does it look like? You could be 18, you could be 25, it doesn't matter. Maybe you worked with a company or not, that is not as important. They just want to see your work, and then they'll get you the job or gig that they need you to do for them. So just about being aggressive, putting yourself out there, like I said before, and seeking opportunities, because that's where your customers are. So do quality work at the same time, and also make sure that your customers can find that work.
Okay, thank you. I think that's really great, analyzing all the points you guys have had. I think the other thing for a freelancer is how many people find it hard to rate their work, especially when they're beginning. So Jason, would you have a way of helping someone analyze how do I determine my pay rate?
Okay. that would depend a lot, but I think the biggest thing you can do is in determining how to pay. Even before you determine how to pay, you need to know how good you are. And once you are clear on that, you can be able to do that in terms of market research, even seeing what other people in your field are putting out. For example, as a designer, you can be able to know how good you are compared to other people. And of that, also get some customer feedback or market feedback on your services. Other designers will probably tell you, okay, that's nice stuff or not. So when you have all those factors together, then well, I don't know if this applies properly to us here in Uganda. Another aspect you can look into, is your fixed costs as well. If you're paying for Adobe, which I hope most Ugandans are doing, but I know we don't. But if you're paying for Adobe, if you're paying for Adobe, if you're paying for your internet, you're paying for Shutterstock, all of that, take that all into consideration. And know that at the end of the month, I have these fixed costs. So I need to be able to make more than this in order to stay in business. That definitely will influence how you price your clients.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, because money, a lot of times people say I could do this even if I wasn't paid, but well, the bills talk for themselves. Yeah. So in terms of placing themselves out there, I know we talked about being aggressive, and there's someone who probably doesn't have a thick portfolio, but then we are talking about marketing, and Michael also touched a bit about going to online spaces, which other people are in. So are there any other touch-ups in terms of marketing that you could give?
I would say if someone is getting into freelancing, something I read earlier today morning, the gentleman talked about 4 easy steps, and I thought those would also apply here. You try to understand the problems people are facing at the moment and see how your skill can be able to provide a solution to that. Once you've been able to identify those businesses, you can be able to work on your process, craft ideally. There are many things that you can do. You can do a Udemy course. You can do, there is Udacity, something that will make you or take your skill to the next level. Then once you've been able to do that, you can reach out to, usually my sake, I really got there through referrals, doing work for people, your family. They see your work, they like it, they push it on, but the beginning is having a good skill set. Then you can get into platforms like Waape, as you've seen. There's Freelancer. I tried out Freelancer in my second year. There is also Fiverr, to be able to see what jobs you can be able to get and do. You can also look out for job postings. There's Google Jobs or LinkedIn. Just filter out people who are looking for people who need the skill set that you do. And then also after doing all of that continuously with each client, make sure you get customer feedback so that you can be able to improve your process and your service.
Yeah, that's great. Because all in all, you need to place yourself at a place where you are doing the best you can. I think that's wonderful. So yes, now we've said this person has the right skills, they have the right marketing skills, but I want you guys to pinpoint around skills that you would really love from someone if you were to work with them. Maybe if you were to employ a freelancer, maybe it's a soft skill. We've said like they have their technical skills, and check maybe if they're a designer, they're really good at design, or if they're writers, they're really good at writing. But what are other soft skills that you'd like to emphasize for someone and telling them this is really important, and maybe I've seen it lacking around? Sasha?
The soft skills that I think I would be looking for, or would be looking for as a company, is first of all delivery rates. Can you deliver on time and as you promised?
you know, most times when people are governing themselves, okay, because freelancers are governing themselves, they're working on their own. So it's a very unique aspect when you can, that usually makes people stand out, because you find that you have 3 writers to pick from, but you've told them, I want you to write 500 words, then deliver on Wednesday. I'd like to see the article on Wednesday. One person will send it on Thursday, another person will send it on Tuesday. So can you deliver on time? Because it's a very impressive aspect. Another one is communication, great communication skills, because it builds a relationship. Everyone is included. So in case of any problems, anything that is going on, you need help, or you think that there's a way we can improve also as a company, then it's a very good skill. So communication, delivery rate, I'd say, and then maybe problem solving, just being able to identify issues and work on them without anyone else having to guide you. Though you can ask for guidance, but it's also a very impressive skill to have.
Okay, thank you so much. So Jason, she's talked about communication and delivery rate. Do you have anything else to add?
Yes, she actually has said the major things. The other 2 things I would add to that, as a freelancer, I believe you have to have good personal management skills. Usually freelancers tend to overwork themselves into the night, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and you find that you're not producing your best because you're taking on so much, you're not dieting well, you're overworking yourself, and it becomes too intense on you. So someone who is able to balance their schedules well and their work, I think would be a skill I'd like to have. Also, another thing probably we could look at is personal management, communication. It has just slipped out of my head, but
no problem.
I'll drop it in the chat. But yes, that's really what I wanted to talk about.
That's really amazing, because yeah, you need to take care of yourself and make sure you're not spreading yourself thin. Michael, are we still together?
Yes.
Yeah. So we want you to talk about, give your parting shot to any freelance out there as we close up, to just how they should conduct themselves, or anything, any advice you'd want to give a freelance out there.
Freelancers of social media, they should always see, in general, all freelancers should,
in general, just in general,
they should be able to communicate to their clients. If, for example, those ones who do graphic designing, if your laptop crashes and the client wants work tomorrow and you cannot deliver, always communicate and tell the client, my laptop has crashed and I cannot deliver. Or else get someone else to help you and do it for you. Then you pay those people. Social media freelancers should always be so active online and always create content. Because if you don't have content, you cannot deliver anything to clients. Clients want people with content every day.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're running out of time. We are 1 minute out. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a wonderful session. Although
Hello, Sydney.
Hi, how are you doing, Daniel? Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. How is the afternoon?
Everything's going great, man. How is it there?
It's cool. Welcome to the platform.
You're welcome to as well.
Okay. We're going to be having a small discussion here, and oh, sorry about that. As we wait for the panelists to join us, my name is Daniel. I'm the Chief of Finance, so Finance Lead at Waape currently. And of course, I called you people up so that we could discuss something about the future of payments, okay? Moving forward, how we're going to be making payments for our jobs, clients, and all that stuff. So I believe that we've picked the best team. I'm glad you're that team. I'm expecting to have you. I'm expecting to have Neil, who is the lead, country lead.
Okay, so that's me over there. Hi, Ada. Hi, John. Hi, Christine. Hi, Collins and Frank, who are snooping. I'm so excited to have you with me today, ladies. My name is Brenda Tabitha Namwene. I am the CTO at Waape, and I am the Google DS Seed in Uganda, and I'm a Women Tech Makers volunteer. Aside from that, I'm a woman in tech, and I'm into all things front end. So a little introductions from yourselves. I mean, I know that I have a formidable Adero Kristen, who is into data science and IT. I have Janet Anamri, the Women Tech Makers Kampala ambassador. I have Ada Duka Oyom, who is a community manager at Google, and she's the co-founder of She Code Africa and the co-founder of Open Source Africa. Joan Tambi, who was an NOC engineer at Rexio Data Center. But I'd like to know a bit more about you. Who are you, Ada?
All right. Please, at any point, if you can hear me clearly, just let me know. Thank you very much, Tabitha, and hi, everybody. Hi, Joanne, Kristen, and Collins. So just like we introduced, my name is Adam Duka Oyum, and I'm currently the community manager for Sub-Saharan Africa at Google. So what that involves is I helped oversee the Google Developer Groups program and the Google Developer Students Club program, which is like this you're currently running all across Sub-Saharan Africa. And besides that, just a little bit of clarification, I am the founder, no co-founder, of She Code Africa, and then for Open Source Community Africa, I am the co-founder of Open Source Community Africa. I like to see myself as a huge advocate for women in technology, especially African women in technology. I'm also a software developer. I would say full stack, but majorly focused on backend. And I think that is all about me. Every now and then, you would also see me doing things around content creation and all of that. Thank you.
I'm a big fan of your content creation TikTok. Thank you, Ada. What about you, Joanne? Tell us more about yourself.
Okay, hey, hello everyone. I am Joanne Natambi, and as you've heard, I'm the Network Operations Center Engineer at Traxio, which is the first Tier 3 certified data center in Uganda. Basically, what I do is monitoring our data center systems and network to make sure that they are available and to maintain uptime. Yeah, that is all I'm going to say. I also volunteer at Zimba, where it's an organization where we help women by training them in IT skills. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Thank you so much, Joan. Can I know more about Christine?
Hi, everyone. Hello. Nice to meet you all. My name is Christine Dero, and I'm the founder of Passage. Passage is basically a low-tech solution that integrates with the existing ride-hailing apps to provide safe and affordable means of transport for children without needing the smartphone. As you know, for you to use services like Uber, SafeOrder, you need to have a smartphone. So that limits school children from using services such as that. So what we're trying to do is create the technical means for them to be able to use platforms, make it safe to and from school. I wear very many hats, but I'll just say that since it's relevant to here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Again, I'm really excited to have you on this panel today. And we're going to be talking about getting familiar with the trends, challenges, and triumphs of women in technology. I believe this is a topic we're all very familiar with, all too familiar with. And I listed a couple of questions here in my notebook, actually talking points, so that we can have a natural flowing conversation over the next 30 minutes. So I noticed, especially in my country, that there seem to be barriers for women into technology. For example, at A level, many girls are discouraged from doing sciences, but then they get to university and they are interested in doing computer science. But to do computer science, they must have sciences. And I believe education systems tend to fail a lot of women and girls at this point because we have a lot of potential, as you can see right here. I mean, we are here. And I believe a lot more could be done. What is your point of view on this? I will pass it on to Adara first. I think you're muted, dear.
Oh, sorry. Could you just repeat the question? I lost for a few seconds. Connected a bit.
What suggestions do you have for something like this, the barriers of entry into technology for women and girls?
Also, like you've mentioned, that's right from school. It's a mindset. It's not even from school. It's a mindset that starts from home. When a computer is bought or any kind of gadget, it's automatically usually handed over to the boy. And then, you know, right from seeing that from a young age, you grow up with the mindset that technology is not supposed to be fulfilled. And then you get to school and you know the school curriculum or how the school curriculum runs in Uganda. You don't get to choose. It's like the system chooses for you. And also the school community has set up an environment in a way that you're doing sciences or either, those names they place you with, you know. If you're data, you're going to, you know, let's say tomboyish, you're going to be this girl that will not, you know, get married because there's so much into tech and tech is a man's world and it's a tricky field to join. The opportunities are male dominated. So it's this process, you know, it's a process that, you know, you go through. And sometimes I don't blame, I wouldn't blame the women for not wanting to join the field. I myself, when I did a course in public admin, I still don't remember what I was doing there for the 3 years. And then I got out and I was so much interested in tech work, you know. I was really fascinated by, you know, computers. I was fascinated with electricals. I used to open my computers to see what's inside. My phone down, I pick it up, open it up, fix it, and it works. But, you know, it came out of fear for me to do sciences or career. I could have technology by involving myself at a very young age. So it's high time we started these conversations from home. It starts with the mentality right from the home. Before we get to school, parents need to have conversations with their children. What do you want to do? It's okay if you want to do sciences. It doesn't make you less of a woman. It doesn't make you 6 feet tall with muscles, with a six-pack, just because you okay to do IT. So for me, I would
computer science, software engineering.
Sorry?
Because you did software engineering,
yes,
or
Exactly. And it's a mindset change, really. There's giving the opportunities to the women, thousands of them, but the mindset is still corrupted. Then we're going to have a hard time to try and change that. Yeah. I hope I've answered it.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much, Christine. So on to Ada. I realized that a lot of women join tech and do not stay for a long while. Sometimes this is attributed to, let's say, them becoming mothers and workplaces not being friendly enough to working mothers. What do you think can be done about this, or what other greater things can we help change the norm around this? I mean, it's great to have women continuing and advancing in their careers, but at the rate at which they drop out of the careers, it's pretty discouraging.
I would say you've already highlighted one of them, which is for those who are already in the workforce and have 9 to 5s or have full-time job opportunities in tech. A lot of times we see that these tech organizations do not create a convenient environment for these women who want to pursue more time or pursue their career within that space. A lot of times you see organizations, companies creating policies that do not encourage women like this. You see organizations, when you look at their C-level, the people within C-level, it's women who either have been there for a very long time, there isn't any room for growth. For others who are coming into that space, there are policies that do not encourage these women to want to do better. You see women who have to contemplate between having kids, that's starting a family, and wanting to grow their career, because organizations like this do not encourage really sufficient maternal leave, do not put out policies, things as little as even having a daycare in your organization goes a very long way to encourage nursing moms, to encourage women who are in running families and things like that, that, oh yeah, we see you, we see what you're going through, and we want to make sure that this doesn't hinder your growth in our organization. You also see policies, or sometimes it's not even policies, it's the managers or supervisors, depending on what your organization sees them at. It's those people who have that traditional bias of, oh, you're a woman, you get pregnant, you won't be able to continue, or you won't be able to do as much as you have to do. So maybe I need to assign, it's them assuming and assigning people on tasks that you would want to do, or on things that would be very, very convenient for your growth. So it's things like organizational policies, it's things like, I can't remember the word for it, but it's also actions that just show that, oh, externally we're promoting women, we're encouraging women, but internally we're not doing that. So you see brouhahas, like probably on International Women's Day, you see organizations coming out say, oh, we do this for women, we do that for women, and then after that, that's the end. But you're not doing anything. People internally cannot speak on what you're doing for them. That's the women internally can't speak on what you're doing for them. These companies tend to forget that it goes beyond social media. It goes beyond social platforms that you're putting out. It goes beyond telling us, we want to see that you're doing these things. Can I see that when I look at, say, for example, XYZ company, can I see that women are actually growing within these your companies? So it's things like that. And then for girls or women who are just starting out their careers, they don't have 9 to 5 or full-time job opportunities, you're seeing situations like one of the things that you mentioned, which is them being stopped while in secondary school, or them being hindered in terms of growth. You're also seeing things like that same traditional bias in, if it's in schools, you're seeing people tell them they can't go further. Traditional bias and social bias, telling them they can't go further because, oh yeah, you're a woman, you won't be able to succeed in this. And then there are also minor things, but that have a major effect on these women. And it's things like lack of access to resources. Sometimes some women don't get to go through all of the issues of gender bias, societal norms and beliefs and all of that, but it's in access to resources, things like laptops, things like data, things as little as data, all of those things stop them or hinders their growth to want to become more.
Thank you so much, Ada. I see we are joined by Janet Namuteri, the Women Tech Ambassador for Kampala. Hi, Janet. We're more than pleased to have you. I know you're having a crazy day, but we're happy nonetheless to have you. So my next question goes to Joan. Joan, have I asked you a question yet?
Thank you. Thank you.
No, you haven't.
Uh-huh. So we have noticed that for many women, it becomes quite a challenge to choose a career in tech. What kind of advice would you give them? I mean, there's a plethora of things to do in tech, but one can never really be sure of which direction to go. Do I do front end? Do I do back end? Do I do data science? Do I do the other? What kind of advice do you give them?
First, repeat the question.
So I was saying that a lot of women reach a point and fail to choose a career or a path to take in technology. Someone could have front end, there's back end, there is data science, there's so much going on in the tech world. And on that basis, they fail to choose a career. What kind of advice do you give to someone who's just starting out? Given that you are at a formidable place, Rio Data Center, the first of its kind in the country, and not many girls or women would dream of being there. So what kind of advice do you give?
Okay. First of all, the ladies need to remember, of course, like you mentioned, tech is wide. There is so much you can do there. What you can do is to try each thing. For example, I did not start out in networks. I began as a software developer. I was doing also front end. That was mainly website development and everything. So it's always easy to put your foot in everything because tech is wide and it's self-taught most of the time. So you can try, sit down and you tell yourself, maybe if I'm interested in software development, let me try it. The first initial step is to go ahead and start. Don't sit back and tell yourself, let me wait for maybe if I see a job opportunity here. No, if you feel like you want to join the tech world, it's best if you just start. You can go ahead and go to online and teach yourself maybe how to do a website. And if you feel like maybe that is not something you're enjoying, because usually it's about what you're enjoying. Someone's going to start coding today and you're going to feel like, wow, I wish I'd started this earlier. Well, someone else is going to go and start in networks and they're going to realize, wow, I actually prefer networks. So the whole point is to know that you have to just start and to always remember there's no difference, because I've had like so many women who are scared to actually come into that tech world because they like my previous speakers have mentioned, it's male dominated, the stereotypes and everything. But it's always good to remember that there's no difference between you, a girl, and a man. For as long as you want, you're qualified and you can do this job. So you may sit back and tell yourself, okay, me, John, I can't carry a server, it's too heavy. But because you can't carry it doesn't mean you can't configure it, you see. So tech is a field that presents equal opportunities for both males and females, because it's about what you can do, And there are always those employers that are willing to take you on your qualifications. There are those employers who just want to hire someone who can do that job. For example, of course, I'm lucky that I come from a company that emphasizes gender equality. So they're always looking for more women to join. Actually, at the moment, it's 40% women where I work. So that's what you have to always remind yourself of, is that you can do this. I mean, we are women, we've grown up seeing we're raising families, and that's a harder task than coding. I feel like raising a family is harder. So definitely tech is our space, and we have to just go ahead and enter it and start from wherever an opportunity is, wherever. Then you expand on that, you teach yourself, you get certificates. If you're passionate in networks, you're like, oh, I actually like this, read more and expand. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. So Janet, as a leader of women tech makers in Kampala, I have seen and I've noticed that since January, you've been running a series on technology topics, various topics from front-end development to data science, to back-end development to cloud, using Google platforms and technologies, and you're doing amazing. But what again, I have to ask you, what stops many women from continuing with a lot of these things? Is it the discouragement that the fields are too hard for them? Or is it the lack of confidence in themselves?
Thank you so much, Tabitha. I'm actually glad to be part of this session. Sorry about, but just go back to your question. And dealing with the community, it is just a sacrifice at some point, I should say. But when it goes back to how we're dealing with tech and how we can encourage on, but I would say first is you need to know, what am I looking at? Yes, me joining the tech community was after, just to give you a short brief of myself, was after one of my colleagues, Solomon, noticed that maybe, yes, I could maybe hand over this. I could maybe be a good example to the students or the tech students around, but majorly looking at women, simply because, yes, like you said, we had really very few women advancing in tech. And when you look at this, so you already think, when you're choosing as a leader, you already think of one thing: how am I going to encourage my fellow women on board? First of all, yes, there are already certificates around there. There are already things around there. Some of them, most of them actually being paid for, others are free. But what you should all notice is that there's always someone in the community willing to share, willing to help. And if you want to gain more from the community, what you need to put emphasis on is know that the communities are always ready there for you. Have the right people to identify, to work with. Don't just wake up of the blue. Yes, you can just listen into any howly. There's a community here, there's a community here. What I always advise is listen in. Pick out something. Does it make sense to you? Is it part of your interest? Yes. Come here, then you're like, yes, sir. I've seen Tabitha is running Waape. And what does Waape do? It's going to help me identify, let's say, a work remote place. Is this the reason I'm here? Is this? Yes, you'll find a lot of many things in the community, but try as much as possible to follow your interest. Otherwise, one of the things I think why people keep losing interest when you join a community, you find it is running about which one should I go for, which one should I go in for. So you're sticking to one thing at a go, identifying people to work with. I think it will be quite good. You may get a mentor who even doesn't know that they are mentors. I normally use that technique a lot. You can be here without knowing that you're my mentor. Just keep following up you, keep knowing what you're doing. I think that's the best way someone can easily catch up in tech.
Thank you so much, Janet. Unfortunately, we can't continue this conversation for much longer. But as us, I believe we can make another panel discussion, probably through She Code Africa or Women Tech Makers or Google. I mean, the platforms are available, because this is a delicious conversation. I wish it would go on forever. And I have more questions, more queries. So in 2 minutes, could we all give our parting shots? I'll start with Joanne.
All right, thank you. My closing remarks are, being a woman in the technology field is not always easy. But anyway, being a woman in any field is not easy. But we have to remember that there are so many opportunities in tech that we just have to forge ahead. Let's imagine a world where all women at every level of technology, say a CEO or just a beginner junior developer, came together and worked together in order to achieve our sustainable development goals, such as 1, which is no poverty, and most especially 5, by ensuring that the tools that technology has made available are are open for women as they are to men. That should be our dream. And I believe that we can achieve that dream if we work together and we also continue finding ways of empowering women and girls through technology. Yeah, that is it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I hear from Christine? I would really encourage women to take the seat to the table. We don't have to wait for people to call us to join these industries. I think we sometimes wait for this, you know, we want women, let's take that seats to carry your seat to the table where you want to sit. And that way, if you place yourself in this situation, if you place yourself in these opportunities and you're qualified for them, they have no option but say yes. So we have to fight for our space, not physically, but really we have to make our presence be known. And we can only do that by involving ourselves in this field of work and not hide behind things. Thank you. Okay, then Ada.
My last remarks would be to try as much as possible to meet as many women as you can in the field, because every now and then reality will set in. It can be very daunting. So try as much as possible to connect, network with as many women as you can. And then another final remark that I'd like to add is for women who are already in the field, right? It doesn't just stop at you. Someone made the way for you to get into that level that you are or into that role that you are. So as much as possible, extend that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada. So before I move on to the next person, I'd like to tell us that we can sign up on our website, www.waape.io. Today's website was specifically made for this event. So you can follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you would like to join us and you do not know how to, you can hit us up at hello@waape.io. So what about you, Joanne? What are your parting shots?
Do you mean Janet?
Yeah, Janet. Sorry.
Yes.
Janet,
can I go?
shot? Yeah.
Okay. So my two remarks would be, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. So my last remarks would be first is never give up. Figure out your motivation. Okay, thanks. So I would say that my advice would be never give up. And most importantly, know that you remember that you're not alone. Like Ada said, when you say motivation to the rest, just know that someone else has that confusion there. And then maybe the other thing is that accept and know that failure should be part of you. And whenever that, because not every time you're going to be perfect. There are times you're going to, especially when it comes to coding. Not that the great coders didn't fail. No. You write code, it works, you write for 2 hours, it's not working. You close the laptop, you go, you come back, you open it, it fails, you go. It didn't work on the 4th time or even 3rd time, depending. So resilience is key. You just have to keep up the spirit, never give up, and you should leave your comfort zone. Saying that I can't do this, it is only those people who can develop apps, may can't develop an app, may just want to treat. No. Take on risks, take on chances. That is me from you.
So thank you so much, Ada. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Joan. I'm more than excited and more than happy that you could make it here today. I know it was cumbersome for some of you being in different time zones, but you did it. And I can't wait to send you something that says thank you or something of that sort. Other than that, God bless you guys and have yourselves a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
creating this platform. Bye.